Another thing, an early system that was a big development in pricing guides was the development of what they called the Teletype system. And I'm not sure if people here know that, or people in the audience might remember it, but it used to be back in the days there were a thing called Teletype machines, and they were actually machines that were they were like a box, and they would have people would go in and type a message, and it would come out in rolls on the thing, and it was called what was on the tape. So it was it was kind of before the day of the personal computer, and that was a big part of the pricing. It was like if someone wanted to buy 100 1955 Bugs Bunny $50, they'd put a price in there. I'd be paying this much on them, and then a little bit later that would be the price. Now that brings me up to that kind of leads into the next big develop in coin pricing, and that's the gray sheet. I'm sure everybody's heard of the gray sheet. I believe the gray sheet came out in the early 60s. I've got a copy here that I'll pass around a little bit, but it's interesting, when the gray sheet first came out in the early 1960s, the big thing then was not really rare coins, it was BU rolls. BU rolls were like the thing. That's what, I mean, there was an explosion in the coin market. There were more people collecting coins in the 1960s than there are now, believe it or not. There were, I think the Red Book got up to like 600,000 circulation in the 1960s. There was a huge boom in the BU roll market. And then when they took the silver out of coins in 1964, that even further made it a big boom in the business. And when you look at it, it'll be interesting. There will be like, here's a 1963 when his small date pennies hit new highs. In the front page of the gray sheet, BU rolls, cents, nickels, dimes, quarters. So that's interesting. So what we even think about as the rare coin markets now is like so different than what it was in the 1960s. It's really pretty fascinating. And it wasn't even until later they even put type coin. I mean all this, like inside of it now is this is all BU rolls. These over here are circ rolls, and that's it. They didn't even have coins in it, and for a little while. And it wasn't until a little bit later, in 1963, you can see, or in the 1960s, they finally put in. I think they put in. I don't even have it here. Maybe later on they put in silver dollars, and then later they put in type coins. But then eventually it started evolving. Like by the 1980s, they had U.S. gold coins on the front, and then you would open it up and like commemoratives on the inside, pretty close to the structure it is today. And then silver dollars, a big coverage of that. And then there were proof sets, and then single circulated type coins and different uncirculated type coins on the other side. And the way this it kind of evolved is they're trying to do more and more to cover the wholesale coin business. And the reason it ties in what I said about the Teletype system, even today the way it works is that dealers put in their information on the Teletype system, this broad base, and now it's all done by computers, personal computers, and there's probably 1,000 dealers on the networks, and they basically try to essentially report what's going on in the Teletype system. So like if a dealer puts in a bid for commemorative $50, they try to interpret that and put it on the gray sheet. That's what the gray sheet is. We'll get this into it a little bit later, but the whole thing about sight seen, sight unseen, that whole thing is how it's interpreted into the gray sheets and doing the prices. Later on, they had some other innovations. They came out with the blue sheet, which was meant to be a sight unseen market, which is, they still do that now. You'll see the prices on blue sheet are significantly less than on the gray sheet because of the sight seen versus sight seen prices. Then later, they had other ones. They then came out with a quarterly, which quarterly 1, 2, and 3, which covers like date by date, like all the barber halves and the C delivery quarters and all, U.S. gold coins, all by date. So now there's a bid price. Until like until 1990, there was no such thing as what's bid for an 1854 D gold dollar. That was not part of the gray sheet. And it's still, the gray sheet really is a fundamental, even today, it's an amazingly accepted and used price guide. A lot of people use it. It's not the Bible, but it's certainly used by a lot of people, especially coin dealers, for their pricing. And they also sell to the retail public, so you don't have to be a coin dealer to get the gray sheet. So that's one of the bugaboos some coin dealers don't like, but they sell it to anybody. And another point too, they also did a thing called the monthly summary. So the gray sheet has a family of different publications you can subscribe to that cover almost the entire U.S. spectrum. So that covers all those subjects. And it's there is an evolution. I'm not sure if anybody will come out with something to replace the gray sheet, but I know people have tried and they haven't been successful. They do. It's kind of like a real franchise of what they do. This is, just so that, by the way, for comparison, this is today's Red Book. They do different versions of it. This is a spiral bound one, and they, you can see now it's all in full color. It's a lot better, and they do a lot of different, they really cover the whole spectrum, pretty thoroughly.